Tapping in.
Are we live?
Bless you, my brother. Bless you again.
I will not sneeze all day until I get on this show and then immediately start sneezing on this show.
Yeah, it's a problem. We're looking for a replacement. But, don't worry about that right now. Let's get into this segment. I actually want to get a little bit personal, if that's cool with this one. Like, we working in the spaces that we work in, right? Trying to work to serve community and support youth, especially. Right. I know through the Mandulo Foundation, it's been fun days. It's been lots of opportunities to be around the young people. And that's great. And that's cool if you got a juice box for them and a hamburger and a hot dog. But low key, it'd be hard to look after these little kids, man.
Yo, it is. And you're running around, dude. That's a whole workout. They want your thumbs out, bums out, quack like a duck. You gotta, you better quack like a duck. That's what you're there for. You better get as low as you can. And when a circle opens up and there's dancing happening, you better be in the middle of that circle with those kids, man. And that's a lot of the joy that comes from working with these kids, is that you get to really be so youthful and enjoy in that playful nature with them, because that's all they want, these kids. But that being said, they are a handful. Miles and I are uncles for a reason right now.
Big facts. And being an uncle is a beautiful thing, man. I just got to spend actually my dad's birthday over at my older brother's house, chilling with my nieces. And my youngest niece is like just a whole ball of energy, right? Like you better be ready for marathons of hide and seek. You better be ready for marathons of, let me tell you about my slime and my arts and crafts creations, right? Like it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to handle. Shout out to my brother for, he has 3 girls. So yeah, wow. Happy Father's Day, bro. Big facts. All right. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. But as we close in on our topic for today, right? Like these kids are a lot to handle. Sometimes you might want to put them in front of a screen. Give them something to just sit and chill and do. So you ain't got to watch them. Let them watch some. But you better be careful what you're letting them watch, man. It's looking like some stuff is a little bit druggish. If I could be completely honest, some of these shows is stimulating these kids in a way, it appears at least, that's a little bit druggish. So Zoe, what did you find as we dove into Cocaine-Melon?
So giving the people a full story of exactly what the topic is that recently a child development worker said, Jessica Sanson, had said that upon observing her child's engagement with Cocaine-Melon, she was seeing what is reflective of addictive-like characteristics from the kids, where the kids who engage in Cocaine-Melon are being blasted with quick transitions, bright colors, and when you remove that from the kids, they begin to melt down, which is reflective of a withdrawal of sorts. So essentially saying Cocaine-Melon is cocaina to these kids.
Oh my God. Wow, I love it. Yeah. Close. That's it. Put a button on it.
Can I tell you, I've been walking around all day trying to figure out the best Cocaine-Melon cocaine flip.
Well, you found it. There it was. Yeah. Hopefully, Jeezy or Freddie Gibbs or Griselda, somebody's going to take that little clip and put that in the front of a track. It's going to be hot. But it's interesting because, so I started looking this up. Basically, I found out that Cocaine-Melon, or what they say, what's being alleged is that Cocaine-Melon is hyper-stimulating, that it acts as a drug because of the way that those flashing lights and the way that, oh my God, that's trippy. Yo, shout out to the YouTube audience that's seeing what I'm seeing. And shout out to Hassan,
if I'm being honest.
yeah, for pulling it up. But yeah, these types of images, these bright colors, they trigger a dopamine response in a certain way that becomes addictive, right? And so it even leads to like that's what they saying is that these kids are having symptoms of withdrawal, right? Because of their dopamine is deregulated. They are prone to throw tantrums, right? Extensive tantrums when they have to stop watching the show or to get their parents to put the show on. And it's an unhealthy relationship, it seems. And so I guess in looking at this whole topic, my thought was like, all right, how cocaine like can a show possibly be? I didn't watch it. I was scared. I'll admit that. But is this a real thing? And what are the like? Let's just get into a conversation about like how wrong is it? Screen time? Like, what are your intentions? I know we're not parents, but like, what do you think about screen time? The way that we sit kids in front of stuff, having trying to distract them, like the access that they have to screens, the way that they can use this technology from the time that they are very, very tiny people. Like, I think there's a
Yeah.
lot here.
That's the scary part is just how young kids are able to navigate YouTube and a phone, like a child can navigate a phone before they can talk, and children can engage with Siri before they can form full-blown sentences, or Alexa. So it is. And it would be dumb for us to be able to say like, yo, that's not the intention of the phone companies. They're not really trying to make it easy for little kids to be able to easily access YouTube and paid and unregulated content at a young age. But you'll be wrong, because it's exactly what they're doing. That's
Yeah.
exactly what they do. And then how you know that is because Coco Melon is the second largest YouTube page, bro. It's the second largest YouTube page on YouTube. It is crazy. It's the second most viewed. But that being said, man, honestly, me and you don't have kids, and there's no way that we could understand exactly how tiring it is to raise kids, especially because kids upbringing is usually handled by a mother. And if us two the childless childless dudes are gonna sit here and tell mothers the best way to raise their kids, we'd be remiss. But there are some it is something to think about, I would say.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I think the intention of addressing this as two childless dudes uh, is one, I think, to acknowledge, like, just on a human level, like, I don't know about you, I want kids for sure. And I'm, as a grown ass man, I'm getting to the point where that's a real possibility. And I don't know if mentally preparing myself for fatherhood is the right way to put it, but like I am thinking about these things in a different way. I do see my role shifting, like in a caregiver type way, even as an uncle, right? And like I mentioned, a lot of the playing around and stuff we do, but also like looking out, for your peoples in a way that their parents can't, as an uncle. So I guess part of me is like, yes, for sure, we're not parents yet, but like as we look at what it means to try and take on that role with intention as men, right? And maybe share some of that burden so that my girl isn't so exhausted that she just puts the kids in front of the TV, right? I look at this and say this is an opportunity. It's a teachable moment to go to be reminded. Just like don't put your kids in front of just anything, and if you can, especially the male partner, take on some of the responsibility. Take them outside. You know what I'm saying?
Mm, mm.
That's
That's
my
great
that's
advice.
what I got from this. Yeah,
That's
maybe.
great advice. But like the scary thing is when you realize that there is YouTube for kids, but even on YouTube for kids, the manner in which they the manner in which they filter things on there still doesn't shelter kids away from being able to stumble onto things that are quite weird, And it sometimes we do research on the show that just leads us down weird alleys, and definitely searching up Coco Melon conspiracies leads you down some super, super weird
Yeah,
alleys.
for sure.
Yeah, RIP my algorithms on that one. But that being said, I like what you said about, there is an opportunity for people to be able to step in and do something. The science behind it says that there actually is no true correlation behind it. And we get to this point again, where there is what science and research is telling us, and then there's real life what we're seeing. Because you can't miss the fact that how addicted we are with our mature brains to things like TikTok, and how that schematic, quick dopamine of video rush and the click pull, what is it? It's click press pull. You know, that three that 3 point loop that we're stuck in. You It does kind of seem like these kids are being preconditioned um to be able to take information in that way, and we know that way of taking information is bad for us.
Word. Yeah. So as like I think of my nieces and I go, man, like they really can pull up whatever they want on YouTube. That's terrifying to me, right? Like that they know how to use the phone in that way. If the Bluetooth speaker ain't connected, they the ones that connect it. We trying to watch a movie on the TV. They like, oh no, you can go ahead and cast it from the Google Home. All I gotta tell is Alexa to put the movie on. Like the fact that they know how to operate this stuff means that when we not watching and when it's not for our convenience as old heads that don't know how to work this stuff, what are they getting into? And as I think about having kids, I'm like, man, how do you curb that? How do you curb access to information? What does it mean to like sit and talk with your kids and be like, okay, you have a phone, you have a computer. I can't protect you from all that's out there. You know what I mean? And I can't explain all that you're gonna encounter. And we're entering this space, and we'll get into this, I think, even in our next segment, where companies and corporations are being held accountable for the ways that people are impacted by their practices. And when you look at a YouTube and how easy they've, I mean, and we, yeah, it's even YouTube is a subsidiary of what? Google for sure. And we're gonna get all the way into Google in a bit. But like when you look at the choices that they're making to make these things accessible, to put practices in place that keep people on websites for longer, like you said, what is the magnified effect that this has on a young developing brain? um, when you look around at the world that we're transitioning into, how do you like put yourself 5 years in the future, right? Like how would you have a discussion about giving a kid a phone, access to the internet? How do you approach that?
Quite frankly, bro, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know. But what I do know, and this is just off of, and this is a great topic because it's Father's Day, right? So, but what I do know about kids is that kids are more likely to repeat and replicate what a parent is doing. So kids are mirrors, they just go up repeating what they're seeing around them. So if I'm thinking I want my child to live a life that is not just being attached to the phone, I would try to prepare myself by trying to live a life of me not being attached to a phone, and like enjoying the outdoors and prioritizing blocking things away and monitored screen time, and live that life truly so that my child, it rubs off on them in that way, because there's a lot of good and bad things that have rubbed off on us from our parents, especially our dads. Love you, dad. Happy Father's Day, man. My
No, you
guy.
said,
But still.
yeah, no, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go on, bro.
That's it. That's it.
You said a lot right there. You said a lot right there. Kids mirror what they see, right? And it's only natural, man. You making a lot of things click for me. It's only natural, right? If in this culture of more people working from home, of this like attachment to like laptops and devices, if the kid sees mom or dad, right, typing away all the time on their laptop, they want to be in front of a screen too. That's just what they're gonna want to do, right? So I love what you said about leading by example, and that touches the corporate side of it too, right? If we're making choices that actually we want to be outside more, we want you to facilitate maybe not sedating our kids through all types of screen time, but give us ways to use technology to interact outside and to spend time that's in a more healthy way. If we start making those choices, and it's all about choices on our own, then maybe the technology we see and what these companies are offer will change, right? So that was deep. You ain't know it. You gave me a lot
Hey
right there.
man, wait, what you're referring to now, my brother, is voting with our wallets. It's activism with our pockets, and that's what it is. Is You just need to find the companies that do that, that do that, and then you pay them, and that's how that goes. Is that there are many companies that are focusing and emphasizing healthy screen and child engagement and interactions. They do exist. So there are those options, there are those options. That being said, man, being a mother is a very difficult job. So a lot of the times, and what you see when you're doing these research is, at the bottom line, everyone says, but we're not telling nobody's mom what to do. You are the expert on your baby, okay? We are not saying anything. And I think that's important to emphasize again on this.
No doubt, no doubt. But I want to jump right back to what you were saying real quick about supporting the companies that like are creating those opportunities to do stuff in a different way rather than just sitting on screen time. Um, and it's like technology comes in all types of shapes and forms and sizes. Back to my nieces, when we was chilling for my pop's birthday, we all went in the backyard, and I found out I learned this something. They got this device now where you can fill up about 50 water balloons at one time, and it ties them all. And so you good to go. In like 2 minutes, you got like 50 water balloons, bro. And like
You said that it ties them all.
so it's like you put it on the it's like a it's basically it looks like an octopus kind of. It's like it goes right on the spout, and it's like a whole bunch of basically straws that lead to like 50 different water balloons. So you put a bucket of water so they don't all fall off and pop, and literally you put this joint on the spout. You turn the spout on, and it fills all the water balloons at one time. And when they get to the perfect full capacity, they drop off the straw tied into the bucket.
Kids these days have it easy, and this is it. It was gonna, it was only a matter of time to this turn into an old head podcast, and never here we are. These kids have it easy.
They do. They do. But that's, I mean, I just, it came to me like when you were saying, like, yo, let's support the companies. Like, really, like, there's a lot of cool stuff to do outside. They've made a lot of this
Yeah.
stuff easy, right? So it's summertime, at least on this side, right? Take this as an opportunity to go explore all the ways that you can, yeah, do something a little different. Get away from that screen, and get in a water balloon fight, yo.
Yeah. Also, the screen time thing is not just limited to kids, man. When you really look at the numbers of how long each of us are spending on our phones, it like really exposes the fact that we're addicted to it. We're addicted to it. They were saying that adults average about 10.5 hours a day on screen time in the US. 10.5 hours. Teens average about 9 hours a day on screen time. That's almost half your day. That's your entire walking day is latched onto a screen. If you say that you get a few hours of sleep in that day, so man, um, I don't. What's your relationship with screen time? Because I really try and limit mine and delete a lot of things on my phone that would keep me just on it too much. Like I'm trying to get my screen time out of 4 hours.
I ain't even capping. It's been really bad with Zoom meetings like the last couple of years, right? Like, so there are days when I wake up and I have my get myself together time from like whatever it is, 6 to like 8. And then after that, I'm on the laptop. My calendar's open all day. My email's open all day. I'm in and out of Zoom meetings. The work that I'm doing involves Word, what's it called? Google Docs. So I'm typing on Google Docs all day. I'm typing on Excel sheets. You know what I mean? Like I'm in it until work is over. The positive thing is that with both summer and us hopefully closing at least this intense chapter on COVID, we've been able to do more stuff in person. So a lot of the stuff that I was running around doing this week in commemoration of Juneteenth was very much like face to face in person stuff, but it, it's not good. My relationship with screens is definitely not good. And I'll be completely honest, like a lot of it is work that I gotta do. So I'm really it's tough to create that distance. And you gotta be intentional about it. So I appreciate you, throwing that out there.
Yeah, man. You got to look at the ugly numbers, actually like look into your phone about like how many times you're picking it up. You can't there's no way to be able to start making a change on it if you haven't like really understood what it is. You know, you could find that maybe your screen time or our screen time is quite high, and then just start doing small things backwards. I try and delete. I recently I took YouTube off my phone. I took YouTube off my phone. I take Instagram off my phone throughout the week. And if I have to post something, I'll post it and I'll delete it and I'll dip. And that's like how I'm trying to engage, especially with the phone and reducing that screen time because like one does feel like an addict sometimes on it.
Yeah, it's easy because you're always checking it. Have you gotten a phantom phone vibrate? Your phone ain't even in your pocket, but you felt that mug chime. Like
Bro,
that is a scary feeling, bro.
that's Coco-Melon cocaine over there, but I ain't talking about that puro cocaine.
Real talk, man. Real talk. And it's difficult. And it's difficult. So with all of that in mind, like I'm gonna try and take that on and be like, yo, let me distance myself from the phone. You have this practice that has always stuck with me that you say when you first wake up, you get your meditation on, you get yourself together before you even touch or look at the phone and let that character or color your day. And maybe that's a practice that I'll take on really because yeah, just reserving some of that time for intentional not screen time is a first step I'm gonna try to take.
Yeah. And I think it's important to even say, man, even with that practice, right? I'm not infallible. I miss days sometimes. Sometimes you sometimes it's one is not always consistent with it because I feel like things like that people will like try and then fail once and then just be like, ah shit, I tried and it's not for me. But in fact, like it's really more so about trying again the next day and then trying again the next day, and it only takes 2 weeks to form a habit, so after you've gone over the 2 week habit forming, now it's part of your day. It's just that first 2 week jump, and then it becomes lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to elevate my lifestyle, man. And I appreciate you for spitting a little game on the podcast for all of us that get to soak it up. Appreciate y'all out there for listening. And appreciate y'all for sticking with us as we transition to current news.